Greetings to you. This is the that.DASK EduBiz Consult. I am Donkwa Ananesamo Kweku. I'm also known as EduDask. The that.DASK EduBiz Consult is basically to secure you an admission, scholarship, and visa abroad, and all the rest to your educational needs. I want to be there for you. I've done it for others. It's your turn now. Ask me what exactly you need me to help with, and I'll come through. I want to share with you in this presentation spiritual investment. Take note of the essence and the need that you invest spiritually. There are several types of investment you might have looked at, but have you paid attention to your spiritual investment? Of our presentation, spiritual investment. So investment may comprise of human capital and spiritual investment. These are all important for our growth. Now, looking at human capital might look at yourself as the direct beneficiary. Your ability to amass human capacity constitutes your human capital. These might include certain skills that you might develop, your time management skills, some attitudes that are positive you have built on, your financial literacy, and your intelligence with regards to academics and finances. These are things that constitute your human capital. Now, mostly the acquisition of this might be because you have gone through a deliberate study, a deliberate academic exposure. You've exposed yourself to academic tutelage, and that you've been abreast with this training. It could be by seminars that you have also attended, and getting a life coach. You've been mentored. This is how you acquire human capital. I thought that you take note of this and take into consideration. Now, look at the spiritual investment. We become more or less an indirect beneficiary, and so we're looking at we giving ourselves for the activities of God. Now, when you are investing yourself spiritually, the most important thing is that you give yourself first. All of you in response to all of God. You invest yourself. You give yourself. First of all, give of your best. Give of yourself. Spiritual investment. And they did not do as we expected, but they gave themselves first to the Lord and then to us in keeping with God's will. The good book. So you give yourself first to God. This point cannot be sidelined. It's very important. The third spiritual investment I want you to look at is what we mostly refer as tithe. That is basically a tenth of your income, 1/10, or as it were, 10% of your income. Return it to God. This is just a matter of honesty, and that you would have to return it to the extent that you acknowledge that He provided and that He expects of you to show appreciation and to return what is due Him. You will do so. So tithing is the regular practice of setting apart the first tenth of your total income for God. This is in honoring God that He's the provider of the income. Jacob, according to the good book, gave a tenth. Jacob prayed, "Oh, my father Abraham, God of my father Isaac, O Lord, who said to me, go back to your country and your relatives, and I will make you prosper." The extent that Jacob returned the tenth, God showed His kindness. God showed His faithfulness. God did indicate that He will make him prosper. You would want to take note of that. To the extent that we honor God, He shows Himself present and He blesses us. Now, notice that you are not necessarily given to get prosper. You are given out of love. You are given out of the fact that you are an honest person and that you heed to the commandments of God. Now, understand that this tithing process is more or less like an insurance against the devourer. The people that come up against you, to the extent that you are faithful in your tithing, you will stand tall and you will stand against them. Take note. It's an insurance you don't want to sideline. The fourth spiritual investment is offering. Offering to God. Now, offerings and alms are what today we call charity. We give to God and we give to our fellow human. Bring your burnt offerings and sacrifices, your tithes and special gifts, what you have vowed to give, and your freewill offering on the bestborn of your heat and the firstborn of your head and flocks. The good book. Now, there are some types of offerings I want you to look at. There's the burnt offering. There are some sacrifices that will constitute offering. There are some special gifts that we have. And then there is a vow. Then we have the free will offering, and also the firstborn of your herds and flocks, according to the good book. Now, notice that the fourth is a vow. And to the extent that you make a vow, you don't want to honor it. And of all these offerings, you would want to give it voluntarily, out of your free will. You are not going to be coerced, you are not going to be unduly influenced. It is one that you give for the purposes of love. 5. The fifth type of spiritual investment you want to look at are vows. You will make a vow with God. You will make a special covenant with God. You will enter into a covenant relationship with God. You will take this opportunity to give unto God and to invest into your spiritual well-being. Now, to the extent that you obey, it will result in special blessings. The sixth type of investment I am bringing to your attention. Remember our subject, spiritual investment. The sixth type of investment into the vulnerable. The vulnerable are with us, and it is our responsibility to show them love in cash and in kind. We'll have to be there for them. He who gives to the poor will lack nothing, but he who closes his eyes to them receives many cares. The good book. We are aware that in the days of Abraham, he had shown kindness to the poor, and some of them happens to be angels. You never know who you are being kind to. It might pay off today or tomorrow. Take note. He who is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will reward him for what he has done. The good book. There is a marvelous picture of what we do when we give to the poor. The good book. Cast your bread upon the waters, for after many days you will find it again. There are several promises we have been told, or that to the extent that we show kindness to the poor, it will account to our credit. When you give to the poor, you there again invest into your spiritual life. It's an insurance that in the days of need you shall be rescued. Blessed is he who regard for the poor. The Lord delivers him in times of trouble. The Lord will protect him and preserve his life. He will bless him and the land, and not surrender him to the desires of his enemies. The good book. Several Bible characters, as Job, share with us their experience and the benefits that are counted to them as a result of their generosity. The seventh type of spiritual investment, and I thought this is even more important and by far seems to have been sidelined, when we give to the ministers of God, the persons that constitute the church system today, the church leadership, the pastors, the elders, the evangelists, the shepherdess, those in the service of God. Show them kindness, because it is required and recommended that you do so. You improve on your spiritual investment. Take note, anyone who receives a prophet because he is a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. It will account to your credit. When we give to these persons, they blesses us and is of value. Now, taking care of ministers of God is a master key that opens the golden gate of prosperity. Your eighth type of spiritual investment. Give to your parents. Identify your parents and give to them. Now, the scriptures has admonished us and encouraged us and promised us that when we honor our parents, he will bless us. This is the first commandment, was a promise that we honor our parents. But most of the time, we might have been at loggerheads with our parents and seems to have sidelined the role they play in our lives and to what extent they blessing to us. The essence of this presentation is to bring to your attention that the blessings of parents will constitute enormously to your spiritual investment, and one that you cannot sideline. Take note of your parents' needs. The blessings of our parents are more precious than gold. If a man curses his father or mother, his lamp will be put in pitch darkness. When you honor your parents, you honor God. It was the reason why Jacob undid the blessings of Esau, because he knew the value of the blessings from the parents. Something must always go out in love from you to your parents before you can enjoy blessings of their soul. give to your parents. Deliberately and purposely embark on this activity. The ninth type of spiritual investment: invest in yourself. Remember our subject: spiritual investments. Faithful prayers. You would want to communicate. Now, in some other presentation, I shared about communication. I shared about effective communication. Check it out. But now I'm telling you about prayers as a means of communicating with God. Prayer reminds us and serves as a platform that mankind reaches God, that mankind communicates with God. Prayer is a magnetic force that causes an instantaneous release of the supernatural. God will intervene. Whatever the situation is, to the extent that you have invested in that spiritual activity, there will be a supernatural impact. It is an authentic weapon of warfare and deliverance. Prayer is indeed a master key that unlocks all the prison gates in our lives. Things will be open. Now, Martin Luther shares his experience. If I do not pray for 3 to 4 hours in the hours between midnight and 5 a.m., Satan gets the upper hand on the following day. Martin Luther's experience. Prayer is not an option. It is also an inescapable covenant obligation. It cannot be substituted with giving or hard work. We are commanded by God to pray without ceasing. Do not substitute anything for prayer. Prayer serves its role and serves its purpose. You would want to take into consideration and do things. Now, don't you think that your dying business can be flourished when you take it to the Lord in prayers? Spiritual investment. Pray and get your prayer to be faithful. Communicate with God with a faithful prayer, and He will come to your aid. So we are told that prayer engages our spiritual enemies into a mortal conflict. It strikes blow after blow to Satan's nerve system. Failure to pray is planning to fail in life. You don't want to sideline the importance of prayer. Now, our Christian experience admonishes us to believe and to have faith in God. And faith releases you from your limited capabilities. It moves you from the inability to the ability, and it exposes you to the magnificent power of God. When you have faith, you exchange your self-trust for the trust of God, to the extent that your spiritual investment is relevant to you. Faith is a spiritual entity and the beauty of Christianity. Faith is a living force drawn from the living word of a living proof. It is a reflective act. If you believe in prosperity, it will come to pass. Now, world will have us believe that seeing is believing. Understand that you are first of all to believe, then you can see the power of God. Understand the difference. Believe that when you embark on this spiritual investment, it will account good unto you. Share with me what you have learned. Let me hear from you in the comment section. And follow me on the various social media platforms. Get in touch. Lots of love. Thank you.